Sprite Castle. Sprite Castle. Sprite Castle.
Mr. Rob O'Hara.
Sprite Castle.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sprite Castle. On today's show, I'm going to be playing Berzerk, the new game for the Commodore 64. Now I can hear what you're saying. A new game? I thought Berzerk came out in 1981, and Berzerk was released in arcades by Stern in the early 1980s, but it was never ported over to the Commodore 64 until the year 2009. In the year 2009, Berzerk was ported over to the Commodore 64. As you can see, a little background noise there. The Commodore 64 version was released in 2009. It was made on cartridges and was released, you can see, even though this is a new release, it definitely has a retro feel here with all the old school intros and scrollers there. Also, I got to point out before I get any further, take a look at the graphics on this release. You've got an awesome intro title page here. You've got an awesome logo that's going to come up here in just a second. This is a top-notch release for the Commodore 64. It was re-released, well, it was patched, I guess, in this version here. You can see it's called Berzerk Redo. In early 2013, not in the spring of 2013, I guess. So it's about 6 months old. Here you see the Berzerk logo. It says press fire to start. You can already tell that it has a great sound. The game itself is very true to the arcade version, so I'm going to go ahead and fire it up here. And here you have Berzerk. If you're not familiar with Berzerk, somehow if you have missed Berzerk over the last 32 or so years, you are a prisoner, and you are in the you're in this maze here. Your goal is to kill all the robots and leave the screen before Evil Otto catches you. That's Evil Otto there coming after me. You get 50 points for each robot that you shoot, and then you get a 10-point bonus for each robot that was killed during the level. So sometimes you can trick these robots into walking into the walls, which will kill them and also kill you. Also, if you can get the robots to walk into each other. The key to Berzerk is a diagonal shot, which is so difficult. It's never quite at the right angle that you think it should be. Again, here comes Evil Otto, and Evil Otto cannot be defeated. So when Evil Otto comes, it's time to go. Now the first few levels here feature these yellow robots, and they are pretty slow, and they don't fire back, and they're not very difficult to defeat. What you will see here shortly is you'll move up to faster robots and ones that fire back here very shortly. So what can I say about this release of Berzerk? Other than the graphics being slightly smaller than the arcade original, the game is spot on. The collision detection is spot on. The sound, if you could hear the Berzerk was well known for its digitized voice in arcades, and you can hear that this release has the same digitized voice. I'm not sure if that is sampled. Oh, I'm not going to make it to that guy. I don't know if this has been sampled from the arcade release, or if let's see if I can get one of these guys to come up here. There we go. Or if it's being recreated, but either way, the sound is just spot on. The game is spot on. I mean, obviously, it doesn't take a lot of technical prowess, you wouldn't think, to reproduce Berzerk, but so I don't know why it took so long to do, but these guys did it, and man, did they do a good job on this. I would, you know, obviously we're so used today to Commodore games. Well, I was used to it back in the day, of Commodore games being free to download, and this version of Berzerk is freely available on the web. So you can download it in, oh, now we're at the third level of robots here. You see these. The white robots here are even faster and more deadly than the red ones. But sometimes you could still trick them into running into each other. Yeah, I mean, obviously, even if it were a game that you had to pay for, I mean, whether it was, you know, $10 or whatever like that, I mean, it would be worth it for that, but the fact that it's available for free for download, this is a must download for any Commodore fan. Like I said, not much sure what else to say about it. It's the sound, the graphics, the gameplay, everything here is just spot on. It's definitely harder than it looks. I'm actually playing this on a gamepad here, and I think it would be easier with a joystick. I may have to switch back to a joystick. Yeah, I've played several versions of this. There's a version, the Atari 2600 version is actually not bad, which tells you, you know, how little horsepower you actually need to emulate this game. But I'm going to get back to the title screen just so you can put my real initials in here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a fantastic version and highly recommended. So if you're a Commodore 64 fan, whether you have ways to convert D64 disk images over to real discs, if you want to play this on a real 64. One thing I should mention is that this game works on either PAL or NTSC Commodores. The NTSC version, which is what I'm running here, is a little bit faster than the PAL. So it's a little bit more difficult on NTSC machines, but still plays great. So highly recommended if you're a fan of, like I said, Commodore games, arcade ports, anything like that. This is a must-own. So thanks for watching another episode of Sprite Castle. If you like this podcast or other retro-themed podcasts, be sure to check out throwbacknetwork.net, where you can find the 2600 Game by Game podcast, the Intellivisionaries podcast. There's all kinds of podcasts being added to the network right now, so be sure to check out throwbacknetwork.net. And if you want to follow Sprite Castle, you can do it there, or follow on spritecastle.com, and we'll have more episodes posted shortly. Now, back to some Berzerk.